Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Monday the 7th of June 2021, and we're asking in this video, are cryptocurrencies taking the place of gold and silver? Now earlier today we published two other videos, one this morning entitled Why Gold and Silver Stackers Should Not Ignore the Cryptocurrency Market, and one published at 1500 GMT plus one entitled Would gold and silver prices be higher if it weren't for cryptocurrencies? Now both of these videos are essentially the same as this one, except that they've been published at different times of the day under a different thumbnail and title. We're attempting to ascertain the most optimum time and title for publication, as we seem to be getting it wrong of late. Therefore, if you've already listened to any of the ones already mentioned, then by all means, please ignore this one, unless, of course, you wish to listen to it again. Otherwise, listen to this one and ignore the others. We won't do this on a regular basis, but we are attempting to see which will give us the greater coverage, and we appreciate your cooperation. So let's address this issue. Are cryptocurrencies taking the place of gold and silver? Now yesterday we published a video entitled Will Rising Oil Prices Lead to Rising Gold and Silver Prices? And on Saturday our Gold and Silver Weekly Update for the week ending the 4th of June. And we've placed links to both of these in the description box below. Now today we're going to take a brief look at why we as gold and silver and precious metal investors or stackers should not be oblivious or ignorant of the cryptocurrency markets. Now there are a number of reasons why this is the case, and we should not ignore them. Too many, frankly, to cover in a 10 approximately to 15-minute video. But we shall cover what we regard as the main three reasons. The first, cryptos are being seen by today's generation, millennials and now older people, as both as an alternative currency and, in some cases such as Bitcoin, a store of value. Now that may sound alien to us, believing that gold and silver are a store of value, but nevertheless, this is the perception that is being developed. Now it does not apply to all cryptos, but Bitcoin particularly is now being recommended by investment advisors and is forming part of major fund portfolios. Others include alternative cryptos such as Ethereum, Binance, Litecoin and Cardano, and the numbers are increasing. We have often spoken on this channel about currency collapse and various so-called investment gurus having wrongly predicted the collapse of the dollar for decades. However, we have often argued that the dollar and paper currencies will eventually be replaced by digital currencies. But it's not going to be an overnight spectacle as the result of the world's reserve currency crashing through the floor while we're asleep, but by gradual substitution. It is entirely possible that this is what we are witnessing now. 2. The cryptocurrency market is bigger by capitalization than the silver market and will eventually challenge the gold market capitalization value. It is estimated that approximately 1,600,000 tons of silver has ever been mined. We all know silver's use has a history of many thousands of years. The total value of this amount of silver mined at a current $28, and we're being slightly generous because it's slightly less than $28 an ounce, is a value of $1.4 trillion. But we have to accept that a certain percentage has been wasted or buried in landfill, and a significant amount involved in jewellery, silverware, and finished fabricated products that will never really see what we call the investment world. The Silver Institute therefore argues that investable silver, that is in the form of coins and bars, and quickly realizable at today's prices, they estimate a value just shy of $72 billion. The market capitalization of Bitcoin alone, as of today, at a price just shy of $36,000 a Bitcoin, is $674 billion. And the global crypto market capitalization is $1.65 trillion. Almost exactly the same value as the total value of all silver on the earth. So not just investable silver, but all silver on the earth above ground currently. And to think that cryptos have been with us only for a little over a decade. Now you see, this value and level of investment cannot be ignored, and however much we may wish it, is too large and is being accepted by too many organizations for it to go away. Just imagine the effect if just 10% of this value had been invested in silver. What would that do to the price? And we would argue that had cryptos not been around, with the current financial circumstances as they are, it is not in any way unreasonable to have expected between 5 and 10% of monies having gone into cryptocurrencies being invested in silver, and anything from 10 to 30% being invested in gold due to a lack of a viable alternative. And 3, we're living in a digital age where social media and TikTok affects the value of underlying assets with far greater reach than traditional investment principles. We've been involved in financial services one way or another for 40 years. We understand traditional investment principles and the concept of value investing, as does Warren Buffett. But today, people are creating cryptocurrencies and becoming billionaires in just 5 short years, whereas Buffett has taken decades, and we ourselves have never reached such giddy heights. A tweet from Elon Musk caused Dogecoin, or Dogecoin as they call it, a cryptocurrency created originally as a joke, to rise 30% in value overnight. And this coin has a market capitalization today of $48 billion. And yes, it was originally created as a joke. It's got a picture of a dog on it. Now, we have the likes of Mark Cuban and Tesla taxis accepting this coin in exchange for goods and services. Even though there are approximately 8,000 cryptocurrencies out there, and all but a few will ever gain prominence, they are here to stay. If there's one message we get across today, it's that. Governments are now adopting legislation in which they are able to tax cryptocurrency usage and insist on reporting above a certain amount of transaction value. The US Congress are looking at $10,000. And over this past weekend, El Salvador has announced that it will accept Bitcoin as legal tender. Multiple stores around the world will now accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And they are here to stay and will compete, so they claim, against gold and silver as a hedge against inflation. Yes, commentators are now quoting cryptos as an inflation hedge and protection against currency debasement. Now, in this video, we could also cover critically important aspects such as blockchain technology upon which these cryptos are housed or delivered. Already, these blockchains are being devised for not only swift payments, but for voting and electoral systems, education systems, and peer-to-peer individual and business financing arrangements, and a range of other uses people of our age and older find difficult to grasp in this digital world. Mark Cuban has publicly announced that he's been teaching his children about investing using cryptocurrencies. Elon Musk is constantly commenting on cryptos and at one stage accepted Bitcoin in exchange for his Tesla cars, though he has stopped this now on grounds of Bitcoin's energy usage to create them being too high. But he is looking at other cryptos which are more environmentally friendly. To see the impact these new digital money systems are having, go on YouTube and look at the number of views these channels are getting. And then compare them to the number of views channels like ours in the gold and silver space are getting. Even the most successful channels in our field find it difficult to go much beyond 50,000 views. But in crypto land, you're failing with that number of views. All of this suggests a trend, and a trend that is likely to stay. Even if cryptos undergo a mighty fall, as many are predicting. The foundations are well set, systems are in place, and blockchain not only has the interests of the public, but academics are working with companies like Cardano and peer reviewing their systems and platforms. We ignored cryptocurrencies at our peril and financial detriment. This is the new world. Individual governments will attempt to regulate, but will revert to taxation instead, as it's an unstoppable juggernaut. What does this mean for gold and silver? They're still sound, solid investments for the future, no doubt. We still have faith. However, we should not and cannot ignore the fact that in terms of investment attraction, they have been bypassed by new generations who are comfortable with the very digital world we, to a large extent, have been brought up to regard with suspicion. Yes, the pumpers would be right with $10,000 gold and $100 plus silver if cryptos did not exist. And a proportion of those investments entered our space. But they do exist, and people are encouraged now to regularly invest in cryptos because it paints for them a future of great wealth and opportunity and platforms upon which the future of our society lies. We may not like this, we may not trust this, but what it is, and the markets dictate those who survive and those who don't. So whilst this may not be a message any of us wish to hear, our strongest recommendation is for us not to get too carried away with gold and silver, as there are alternatives out there, but to accept that what we do have is a stable inflationary hedge which will protect us in times of distress and inflation. Unfortunately, the purchasing of a home with a few ounces of silver will now almost never happen. And we say this not with relish, but with sadness. Ironically, $1,000 invested in Dogecoin just a year ago would today be worth $163,000. And there are cryptos with far better returns. $1,000 invested in gold a year ago would now give us $1,145. And in silver, $1,560. And the precious metal star palladium, $1,897. But even Bitcoin, which has now been well established for a decade or more, would have returned to us $2,690. And to knock all of this out of the park, the best performing crypto of the past year, well, at least up to the 30th of April, it may now have changed, although its price at that time was $1.32, and it's now $1.73, so it may still be ahead, is Cardano, with an increase, wait for it, of 3,200%. Imagine putting $1,000 into that. It is no surprise that people are excited, enticed, and attracted to cryptocurrencies. Meanwhile, as we produce this video, gold unfortunately is down $7 at $1,884, and silver is down 23 cents at $27.57. And the dollar spot index is up 0.05 at 90.19. So what are your thoughts? Do you agree with us that cryptos are here to stay and have perhaps stolen our potential for gold and silver by way of deviating investment monies elsewhere? Or do you perhaps think it will all result in a busted flush? Do share your thoughts. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel, not forgetting to press the bell sign so you're notified of our videos as and when they are published. Disclaimer. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.